I have discovered the best writing tool ever. It's good if you're planning a novel, a series, a feature film,
whatever.
This tool is called the board, and it is awesome! Now, here's an issue. A lot of people say they love using the board, but they're not actually using the board. They're using this. This is digital. Let me be clear. This is not the board. The board is physical. In this video, I'm going to tell you why the board is better. So, are you ready? I said... What's up, my fellow scribe? Tim here. Welcome to my channel, where I take my 20 years of writing experience of triumphs and failures and help you succeed in your writing journey. Today is part 2 of my mini-series on the best writing tool ever. The best writing tool ever? So we're still calling it that. Okay. Just remember, if you're wrong, I'm fucked. And that tool is the board. I have fallen in love with this tool so much that I want to convince you to give the board a try when you plan your next novel. It's a cork board, for God's sake. Call it that. You may be wondering what brought this video up. Well, it's simple. I posted on a Facebook group asking about if people use the board, and I got tons of people saying, yeah, they love it. I also got a lot of comments like this. Oh, I love the board. I use Scrivener all the time. No, that's not the same. That is digital. The board is physical. So we're talking why Scrivener or any other digital cork boards are inferior to the board. It's physical versus digital. Before we dive in the video, go ahead and smash that like button. Force YouTube to share this video because you liked it. Also, subscribe because I have great content on this channel with more to come. With that said, let's dive into the video. Before we dive into my arguments for why the physical board is better, we gotta look at why people like a digital board. Now, the most common use for it is no cards and all that can get messed up pretty easily, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know that's the typical one people go to. But there's other reasons why people prefer a digital board over a physical board. One, they say it's easier to move the cards around and go back to the last one. It's very simple. Plus, then you have a backup. It's digital. You just copy the file and put it onto a hard drive, an external hard drive, or upload it to Google Drive or something like that, which is all true in all benefits of having a digital board. My point is not that digital boards are they are great. The only thing is I can counter all those points. And this is coming from a man who loves Scrivener. So much that I've used Scrivener's Cork Board to outline multiple novels that all just happen to be giant clusterfuck. Bro. Language. All that just happened to be giant Charlie foxtrots. So what I'm going to do, I will counter these arguments very quickly. First off, I've already covered the messing up the cards thing in my pros versus cons. You can check that video out in the card. Finish this video first, then go watch the pros and cons. Let's talk about moving cards around. Well, I can move them around pretty easily. It's called taking the pin out of the board, taking the card, and moving it to a different location and pinning it. And I can move it back just as fast. And there's an added bonus here. I'm standing while I'm doing this. I can even back up my board. Didn't think I was going to give you that argument, did ya? It's called taking that rectangular slab in your pocket and taking a picture. Hey, look, you made the board portable. Sort of. Again, I'm not saying digital boards are bad. It really comes down to your choice. But there is two things that digital boards are missing that are huge benefits of using a physical board. All right, let's be honest. Typing is not the best recall of information. If you type something, the recall of that information is not the best. But if you handwrite something, you're more likely to remember it. This is because handwriting takes far more motor skills to do. Plus, the lack of space of a physical medium on paper, you have to summarize or come up with a shorthand to encode the information, whether it's notes, ideas, whatever. And there's tons of studies that back this up. Yes, and they mostly deal with taking notes in school. Sure, those studies focus more on the note-taking element. I hate you. I can back this up by using a simple example. You have an idea for a novel. You can't work on it right now, so you just want to write it down so you remember it later. So you grab your pen and a piece of paper and you scratch it down. A few hours later, when you can work on it, you need that information, but you don't have access to the piece of paper.
But you still remember it.
Now, let's take that same example, but this time you typed it on your phone or computer. And again, for whatever reason, you don't have access to wherever you typed it down. Do you remember it? Now, I can only speak for myself, and I can tell you this. If I typed it, I am less likely to remember it. But for the most part, if I hand wrote it and do not have access to that piece of paper, I still remember it. Switch this to
the board.
If you handwrite the beats for your novel and pin them to the board, you're getting that extra benefit of the motor skills you use to reinforce it into the brain. That is awesome! This is a big one. A digital board you only see when you open up your software that you're using. That's sort of the point. So Scrivener, it's great to be used, but if it's not open, you're not seeing it. So it's missing the best thing about using a physical board. When you're in the space it's hanging, you always see it. Even if you're not facing it directly, you know it's there. The reason why this is such a great thing is just seeing the board and knowing there's information on there reinforces it in the brain. If you read specific cards on there, you're not only remembering that card, but you're reinforcing the accurate information on that card. If you use a digital board, unless you turn off your sleep mode, turn off screensaver, have it up all the time,
you are not going to have the same effect.
Using Scrivener or digital corkboard is not a bad thing. It's great for organizing information. I do it all the time.
I love it for that.
But
that's all it's kind of good for, because it's not in sight all the time like
the board.
The best plan is to do both. Playing the physical board while using a digital board. This way, you don't have to worry about cards getting messed up as you're trying to figure out the organization. You can then handwrite each card and pin it once it's done, and you get the added benefit of handwriting and having a physical board on the wall to help you remember all that information. It's a double blammy. Pow, pow. Comment down below and let me know which board you prefer, physical or digital. Did you find my arguments convincing enough to at least give the
board
a try on your next novel planning session? Answer that all down in the comment section and make sure you explain why. Make sure you check out the pros and cons video of using the board. Also, if you haven't, smash that like button, subscribe so you know when my personal experience of using the board goes live. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.